Alright, so today we're going to be looking at 4 different fletchings and seeing which one's the most durable, which one can stand up to, you know, being shot through a deer's shoulder and then picked back up and shot again. So first up, we've got the old trusty Blazer. Been around for what feels like an eternity. Comes standard on basically any arrow you buy pre-fletched. It is a pretty soft vein. I've shot a bunch of them. I've had a bunch of them mess up and had to re-fletch them, but Blazer, pretty standard there. Q2i, a little stiffer, got a little more structure to it. I don't know much about these. I've never really shot them, but they're stiff. I don't think they're as stiff as a TAC vein, but they're definitely stiffer than a Blazer vein. So it'll be interesting to see how they hold up. Roughly the same size as the Blazer. AAE Max, I believe these are Stealth, Max Stealth, Whisper Quiet it says. They are a very soft vein. If I can get this thing to focus. Very soft. You can roll this thing up in your hand. Very soft vein. They have a very wide channel, so there's a good chance that they'll attach to the arrow good, and you know, if that's what keeps them held on there and they can come back to shape, then great. Max Stealth, longer than the others. It's longer, but the height wise is not any different. And then this is a 2-inch TAC driver vein. Very stiff, holds its shape well, will form back over time if it does get a wrinkle in it, but very durable in my opinion. So we're going to see how the others compare by putting them all on one arrow and then shooting it and seeing what happens. They're all roughly the same height. Just trying to keep everything apples to apples as best I can. I'm going to fletch the boning, the Q2i, and the AAE Stealth with the AAE boning glue and primer. The TAC will be with TAC primer and TAC glue. So we're going to try to do with what they recommend for each of them and try to keep them as to spec as we can. And we'll see what happens. We'll see which one. We're going to shoot them through a bunch of stuff. We're going to see which one stays formed and which ones maybe don't and get wrinkled around, and declare a winner at the end potentially. Stick around. Alright, so first test of the Smorgasbord Demon arrow with 4 different types of fletchings. We're going to shoot this TV box. It's actually pretty thick cardboard. It's a full box, so it's going through 2 sides of that. Somewhere in there there's some styrofoam and stuff. As far as the fletchings go, they all look relatively good. I don't see anything. Oh, I guess I could put it in front of the camera. That'd be helpful. I don't see anything wrong with any of them, to be honest with you. Let's shoot a few more times through that, and then we'll amp it up to some harder stuff. Alright, so we went through that box 3 times. There's some markings on there, I think just from the paint of the box. I think every one of them has a little bit of a marking there. Anyway, they're all fine. So we're going to amp it up and go through something else. We're done with the easy stuff. Next up, this old beat up block target. If you've ever used an old target, like you can see this one, they don't stop arrows very good. And if you've ever shot through a target, you know it runs fletchings. Just as I expected, the arrow flew through it. This glue stuff here is the only thing that actually kept it from coming all the way out. So if you look at this, what we're looking at now, the Blazer got a little wrinkle to it, nothing major. The Q2i, not bad. Might have a slight abnormal bend to it. The Blazer has a wrinkle down here at the base of it. If you can see that very well. Right in here we've got a wrinkle, and it may be a little more bend back here. TAC vein looks about perfect. I don't really see anything to it. The AAE Max got a pretty big warp in it. And it's a soft, real soft vane. I really expected it to perform well because I figured it would just bend around stuff, whereas the harder ones like the Q2i and the TAC would hit and warp. So I'm going to shoot that again, and we'll just kind of see. Another thing I want to see is if they will go back to shape. The Q2i maybe is going back to shape. The AAE Max and the Blazer don't appear to be shaping back like they like where they're reusable. So let's shoot again. So it blew all the way through and then stuck into that target just a little bit. Kind of similar. The Blazer got a little warp to it. I don't know how well it's picking it up. Let's see if I can. Blazer's got a little warp to it. Nothing like crazy. The Q2i, it's actually pretty good. There ain't much damage to it. Maybe a slight warp, but I'd probably still shoot it. The AAE Max kind of has done the worst, I think, and I'm shocked by that. You can see it here, I think. I think you can see there that it's got the biggest kind of wrinkle to it, and I thought it would be the better of them because it's so soft. TAC vane looks untouched. I mean, it looks brand new. I don't know if you can see it on here, but there's nothing on it. Q2i and the TAC are holding up the best so far. Blazer and AAE Max, which are the softer two, are not performing as well as I expected them to. Interesting. Next up, frozen pack of turkey dogs. Why? You never know when you might be turkey dog hunting. And it's frozen rock hard, so it'll be kind of interesting to see how they do. So you can see we caught the bottom of the turkey dogs. I'm going to aim a little higher, I think, and do this one again. As far as the fletchings go, it don't look bad at all. I'm going to try to hit it in a little more direct center. Again, the AAE Max may be the worst of any of them. Alright, so we center punched those right there. It's crazy. These are so hard. Blew through them. Alright, so that time we did not come all the way through, which would make sense because we did center punch the Blazer. Definitely getting some warp to it. Q2i maybe bent a little bit. AAE Max got a pretty gnarly spot at the bottom of it. Focus. Pretty bad spot down towards the bottom. TAC vane doesn't look bad at all. Blazer's getting pretty abused. Let's move to something harder because the hard wieners were not enough for this. Alright, next up we've got a piece of trim board. 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch thick, somewhere, probably not a full 1/2 inch, but somewhere between there probably. I think I can hit it and go through it since we went through the frozen hot dogs. So we should get a pass through and be able to see what kind of damage gets done to the fletchings. Not a pass through. Alright, plan B. Got a pretty thick sheet of plywood here, maybe OSB. This is 1/2 inch thick, and I don't have any foam behind it because I'm hoping we can get a pass through, and that's what we need. We'll see what happens. It may just explode. I figure out how to get this out of here. That thing is stuck. So this has gone downhill fast. Every one of these is run now. Every single one of these is just toast. All right, so I'm disappointed that we didn't get a pass through on that board. That would have really helped a lot to then be able to check the fletchings when they weren't just stuck in the board. And I wouldn't have cut my arrow, which would have then, obviously it's run now. So this was an expensive video, I guess. But I really wanted to keep shooting and keep testing and declare an overall, like, this is the one you want. But what I kind of came to the conclusion of is the stealth was the worst one at keeping its shape. After the pass-throughs on the target, it was deforming quick. Blazer was right there with it, maybe slightly better, but the Blazer and the stealth were not holding shape well at all. They were starting to deform already. The Q2i and the TAC were doing a pretty good job of keeping their shape, and they're the stiffer ones. I really thought the stiffer ones being shot through the target, shot through the cardboard, I thought they would be the first one to wrinkle, and then maybe over time they straighten back out. The soft ones seem to be the ones that wrinkled first. Now, would they have straightened back out? I don't know. They didn't in the short amount of time that I was doing this, but I think what we got to do is we got to assume that the stealth and the boning Blazer, they're not going to be in the top two. But the TAC and the QTI, what I'm probably going to do is a part 2 to this, and we're going to compare the TAC and the QTI. We may just do 50 shots through the block target and just keep shooting through it, and that way the arrow doesn't get ruined, but then we can really see which one of those will hold up long term, and not shoot through chunks of wood anymore. Maybe we will. We'll see how this video goes. But stick around, look for a part 2, subscribe, because if there's a part 2, you want to see it, you want to find who the overall winner is. Right now, it'd probably be a coin flip between TAC and QTI. Both did great. No problem with either one of them. Subscribe. Stick around. See part 2 and who the overall winner is. Appreciate it.